If you live in these states, if you are in northern Illinois, across Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, southern New York, through Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, these places through here, I hope your news is letting you know that the amount of ice you're about to receive tomorrow morning is going to suck. These places here that you're seeing in the reds and the oranges are somewhere between a quarter to a half an inch of freezing rain ice. Freezing rain ice, the places that you see the purples could be a half an inch or greater. This is very serious for these locations. Why in the hell are you getting freezing rain? Let me tell you why. Because all precipitation starts as snow, all of it. And if it's nice and cold throughout the entire atmosphere from where the clouds are down to the ground, it stays snow. If it falls through warmer air, it turns into rain. You are going to be in this zone if you're experiencing freezing rain, which means it's going to be cold down at the ground, but the air above you is actually going to be warmer. Snowflakes melt, turn into water drops, and they come down and they hit the ground. They don't have time to freeze again before they hit the ground like sleet. They freeze when they hit the ground, and this covers surfaces like roads, cars, trees in clear ice and what we call glaze ice. This can be really devastating. This makes travel darn near impossible. It can bring trees down. This is going to be a massive mess for the entire Mid-Atlantic region and Midwest. Timing on this is most of this is going to be beginning very late this evening, like in these zones right here, and we're going to start to see it fill in and move across here. It should be pretty much wrapped up by like midday Thursday, with the exception of these far eastern zones. It may be more like Thursday evening. But that is not the only news headline. Because the jet stream is exiting right over New England, this means it's the path that low pressures are going to be taking, and it's cold enough for snow. We are entering a very active time period. And if you were to accumulate the potential amount of snow for the next week and a day-ish, which would be 3 potential storms, we're looking at possibly 2 feet of snow in some locations through New England. The biggest variable in that is the last storm that would be coming about a week from today. Today is Wednesday, February 5th. That one is still a week away, so we're not going to fully trust it. But that one in the forecast model seems to be the biggest. We have 3 storms coming in. We have one rolling in on Thursday that's going to give a very broad 3 to 5, 4 to 6 inches of snow throughout a lot of New England. We have another one that's moving in on Sunday that has the potential to give us a little bit more. And then the third one after that that would be coming at the end of next week. As of right now, models are indicating it could be bigger, but once again, we can't count on that quite yet. February is the snowy month statistically throughout all of New England, so February is just doing what February does. We're going to step through the forecast for snowfall here for New England. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow, so we see that the snow line is just starting to approach the southwestern corner of New Hampshire. And as we step through here, we're looking at 9 o'clock, 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1, 2. We start to see the snow filling in. So if you get out early enough tomorrow morning, travel should be just fine. It's as the day progresses where this is definitely going to be adding up, as the dog does a huge sigh in the background. And so you can see how the snow progresses and moves on out. And it's really going to be late Thursday evening before this stops in most New England locations. In this image, the lightest blues are like 2 to 4 inches. The next shade of blue is 4 to 6 that we're seeing through a lot of northern Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, and it's that shade of darker blue you see through central New Hampshire and a little bit in the northwestern corner of Massachusetts, and at some higher elevations in Vermont too. That is the more 6 to 8 rain. There is the potential to see ice on the backside of this storm in a few of the more southern locations, so just keep that in mind for Thursday evening. The snow forecast for Sunday, February 9th, about 4 days from now, still has a couple potential questions, but looking at a very broad 6 inches-ish across parts of New England. So a little bit more snow if the forecasts pan out than what we're seeing in Thursday's storm. These are GFS Kuchera ratios. Kuchera ratio just means that they're not using a standard 1 to 10 snow-water ratio. They actually put a little bit more science into it. At this time, this model is showing more snow for southern New England than you would see in the very northernmost parts of New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine. But once again, this could shift. I could totally see this shifting north just a little bit. So if you're in southern New England and you really want snow, don't get too terribly excited yet. And if you think you're going to miss it in the North Country, you may not. Let's just give it another day or two. But through these sections that are kind of in the middle of that storm, very broad 6 inches on Sunday, sure. The next substantial storm would be at the end of next week, somewhere around the 13th or 14th. I'm not going to show you the forecast snow totals for that one because this far out, it would do no good. But having said that, do understand that there is a broad area of potentially double-digit snowfall. This information will either make you love me or want to kill me. Lots of questions about for Thursday's snow. Are schools going to cancel? What's going to happen? It depends where you're located. For much of New England, if you're in like New Hampshire, if you're in Maine, if you're in Western Massachusetts, most of this isn't going to start until the kids are already away at school. So the question is if the school districts decide to say, hey, we know what's going to be happening there during the day. We don't want to be sending them home in a mess and we'll just cancel. I don't know what the school districts are going to do. So that's today's update for you. Once again, it's that ice that's going to be happening in the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic region that's going to be bad news. That's really going to be unfortunate for them. They are not going to have a good time with that. So the rest of us up here in New England, we're going to be waiting on our snow, and I'll let you guys know what the forecasts are looking like, how we're going to refine those for Sunday's snowfall. And as we get closer to next week's storm, that could be the fun one.